All right, Brian, here comes the fun part. Time to talk turkey. I'm going to lay out numbers. So we need 20 websites. And the reason we need 20 websites is because I'm going to push to get you as close as I can to the domain rating of 59 as I'm able with those 20. We could do more than 20. Gets more expensive. Of course, it grows faster. But let's talk about 20 because 20 will be enough to make a big mark. And I already know that. I looked into enough that has to do with the competitiveness of the keywords we're going after. How many show up already in titles. Just taking a look at these standard scans. You'll already be able to hit it. So many of the keywords have front page listings with low enough DR that if you're writing good quality content about them, you're just going to beat the non-web savviness of the competitors. And if we're doing these pages on a city by city basis, like I was saying in the other video, then you're going to be able to hit it. Okay, if you haven't watched that video, you're going to want to watch it, or this stuff is just going to be a lot of numbers without clarification. So the other thing about 20 websites is they get to pitch you, right? They get to be all about you. So unlike traditional backlinks, where you go and get a backlink somewhere, maybe they're going to charge you $250 a year for membership to the directory, and you're just one of the listings in their directory. They literally sold you one shelf spot out of all the shelf spots for the year, and you just hope that somebody goes eeny, meeny, miny, mo and clicks on you, right? Gosh, we're going to create the websites that show up next to you, above you and below you, but all around you. And, keyword by keyword, it's going to be a different assortment of things. And so when people go eeny, meeny, miny, mo, they don't know it, but it's the illusion of choice. There are going to be a lot more bowls underneath the cups on average. It's going to be mostly you because these websites are already strong and powerful and out of the sandbox, and they have domain rating. And as we add the contents for your topics, it's just going to fill in. The fact that we're going to break it down metro area by metro area, it's going to make it hyper competitive with the local market and also perfectly fresh. Okay, let's, assuming you get that, you get the double whammy benefit of these websites totally dedicated to you, not just a shelf with a bunch of other competitors. It's all you. And they're backlinking through each other to get some of these guys super strong. And they're all backlinking your main website, so your main website gets to be super strong. And not just backlinking to it, but it's going to be deep backlinks to the individual pages you have on your website, which are great landing pages already for people. Like if they do a search and one of your deeper level pages is shown and they click on it and they land on that topic, perfect. They're already on your site. They can read the page. They can explore your menu. They can give you a call, right? All that stuff. So these websites will make it possible for people to call you right off the websites, read about the topics right off the websites, and or click through to your main website. But also your main website gets to rise a lot higher in rank just under its own power, like the competitors. Much higher DR, shows up for a lot more keywords, et cetera, et cetera. So as you get more pages onto the website, you're just going to show up for lots and lots more keywords all the way around, as long as the pages are decent. Okay, and that's a reality check. Is the pages that we make on the websites that point at you will be as good or better than the pages you guys make for your own websites. For your own website. Isn't that funny? It's neat, but that's cool. We're not going to have a problem with that. 20 websites. 20 domains at $15 each, right? That's just domains. The fact is, we already got them. You know what's great about it? They're not based on a certain location like Arizona, which means they get to be used nationwide. So whenever it is you feel like expanding into more territory, we can do it with those existing 20 domains. We don't have to start new domains. They're out of the sandbox. They're already a year old. They're already really ready to roll. You don't want to have to get new domains just to open the doors, right? So to the degree that we use these, that's the best thing to do. Okay, 20 cPanels at $5 each. And why 20? Because you need at least 20 to get your domain rating up high enough to compete at all. And we need 20 to get some of those websites' domain rating up to compete for the better keywords. Okay. 20 cPanels at $5 each, okay, $100. So you're talking $400 for that part, right? For 20 websites. It's pretty cool. It's $20 covers the domains and the cPanels. Then there's shared server space. Here's where it's kind of cool because we're spread across 3 AWS servers that are strategically placed in different spots in the nation. And you're going to have some of your websites on each of them. Google needs to see that. They don't want to see everything on one IP subnet. It's not on one IP subnet. It's on AWS servers, which could be anybody, right? And is. And not just that, they are the best high-powered AWS server size and speed that's available. So shared server space spread across these AWS servers is great. The servers themselves, if you were to just pay for the servers by yourself, would be about $6,660 per year. But at this point, way cheaper. It's $25 per year hosting per domain, so it's $500 per year instead of $6,660 to accomplish the same goal. Okay. Dedicated server tech, that's because we need one. Things get updated. We need to make sure we got our server tech on hand so that the websites don't go down. And what we do with that, guys, a $3 monthly retainer per website because we always do things in stacks. But that way, when he does updates, he applies the updates through. So usually all the expense for him is the first one, and then the rest is kind of copycat. All right, so anyway, that's $720 a year, and it covers all 20 of your websites. It's just $3 per website. Okay, so far, think about it. It's not expensive on a website basis because this is the reality, right? 25 plus 5 plus 15. 55, 58, Now what? The templates themselves, $75 each for getting it. That's a one-time cost. That is the fact that the websites are done. They have admin panels. They're remote control. We can download the browser titles, meta descriptions of all the pages of all the sites, make adjustments, re-upload, and literally cascade them across the entire structure all at once. We can flip on and off welcome pop-ups, exit pop-ups. We can update stuff. We can upload images and spread them across the sites. It is incredibly efficient to be able to do work on the websites. I don't know what you pay to get work done on your website by the hour, but you're going to pay less to get work done on 20 websites than you would to get work done on one website on your end, especially if it's WordPress. Okay, so there's that. So you got $1,500 covers all those projects, and it's cool because they were already built for you. Talk about gift wrapped. They were already there. That's why they've already earned domain rating and stuff like that. I mean, it's actually a year ahead of... Normally, I'd have to tell you all this and then say, and after about a year, your backlinking network will be in great shape. But we don't have that problem anymore. They're already out of the sandbox. They get to start growing right now. Okay. Just like when you saw take off. This, it means if we do the work in here somewhere, and Google starts to catch on, it'll do like that. I don't know, it's not going to go this high, I'm sure, that fast and high, but it'll go freaking high. Like I said, if we get your domain rating up somewhere in the neighborhood of here, then you'll start moving up into this category, right? Getting you from where you are right now, which is like 50 clicks a month, getting you to 1,000 clicks a month, 2,500 clicks a month, 5,000 clicks a month, definitely will be in that range. Not a question. And that's huge because say by the time you get to a combined 5,000 clicks a month instead of 50, it's 100 times the traffic. What do you need to make to pay off the project once, and then you're always in the gravy? It's just gravy after that. All right, let's take a look. We still have some more costs, so let's just go through them. Okay, here we are. There's that. Template upgrades retainers, $50 a year per site. But what that means is when we create new things, we've created a lot of things. We have newsletter inputs. They're automatic. You can attach MailChimp, Salesforce, ActiveCampaign, that kind of thing. You can attach them just by plugging in the API keys. They're already done, the coding. Same with stuff like Calendly, same with live chat, same with Moment CRM. It is possible for you to sit and watch screen recordings of how people interact on the pages when they land on them. You can see them move their mouse. You can see what they type in the forms. Nobody knows but you. And the reason for doing that is to see if there's anything you can do to streamline the process for them to help get things moving better and faster and so on. Okay. Company dedication is just this. We have to go through the websites if we're pointing them at you, and we'll be changing the company name, address, city, state, phone, zip, emails to you. We have two ways of doing it. One is to do it right on the pages directly in the coding. The other is to use a masking procedure that leaves the content looking like it belongs to other companies until somebody loads the page, and then it flips the phone number to your phone number, that kind of thing. No problem. I'll talk about it some other day because this is not a problem. Anyway, what that means is $4,220 before contents and images. The reason to bring up masking, say for instance we change it all to your information and you want to temporarily switch it to somebody else to get them going because they're going to rent some leads or buy some leads from you, or whatever deals they close are going to pay you for, and you're going to switch it to them. Well, here's the thing. If we actually switch the name, address, city, state, zip, it takes Google that amount of time to start going over that way to that guy, right? And then people are kind of getting the idea of that guy, although we don't put that stuff in the upfront Google, but Google does. Google thinks it belongs to that guy. That's because you're going to directly and on purpose kind of move it permanently to the guy. Say you don't want to. Say you're just hiring a marketing arm or hiring, you're renting out some of those leads, paying or selling off some of those leads, you're referring them. So you just want the information to get masked. So when somebody sees a search for best erectile dysfunction surgeon in Scottsdale and they click on it, it would have been your information, but it's going to load their information until you change it to someone else or just turn it off and it goes back to you. But for Google, the information on the pages never changed. So Google doesn't have any reshuffling to do with the pages. Sorry if that sounded like training. I want to make sure you know about it because it's a really cool feature. All right. So, 4,220 before content and images. And again, that's for 20 sites. So you're talking $211 per site. That's spit cheap. So especially when it covers everything. That's, domain name, cPanel, shared server space on 3 separate AWS servers, dedicated server tech, and having all the templates already built for you, already done. Not we can build them, it's we did build them, they're done. Template upgrades, retainer, and then all we have left to do is this is the only thing that hasn't been done yet, right? Is switch it to your information. That's it. We'll get that done overnight. I always say 2 business days of purchase, but it'll be done overnight on business days. All right, so anyway, let's step into pages. Pages are important. Pages, including the images, are $1 each. That means if we're going to create a page about a topic, right, then we're going to write this page, whether it's 500, 800, 1,200, 1,500, 2,000 words of content, whatever it takes to make that page solid and competitive. And as we do that, we're going to include imagery onto the pages. And those pages will be $1 each, which is great. So a topic used on 20 websites equals $20. Remember I was talking in the last video about something like, it was the first keyword on a keyword list in the other video I made, right? Vapor rub on penis. And so whatever it is that the topics are that you want to write about, that you want to show up for multiple times on the front page of Google, what's that mean? Say we've got, I'm just using 10 fingers here. This is your 20 websites, right? We can write about the vapor rub on penis topic here, and then do it again on here and on here and on here. Well, make sure that we really dial in the queries and that the writing comes out beautifully here. So then when we write it here, it'll be totally new and yet serve the same purpose of answering the point and suggesting you. Serve the same purpose of answering the point and suggesting you. I don't know if you want to do vapor rub on penis, but what I'm saying is whatever the topics are we suggest for you, we'll do that method, right? So we'll get them up on the sites. Then we'll backlink through them. And what happens in this way, we do it with tiers actually. What happens with this way is that the top websites have a lot of power, URL rating power on top of the domain rating, and they point you out. All this stuff gets to happen real quick and happen at once. So it's very, very cool. Okay. Where were we? Okay, so a topic written again and again and again 20 times is $20. It's $1 a topic. We're doing it 20 times so we can backlink through it so some of those sites can rise to the top. Wow, that's cheaper than backlinking. Most directories will cost you a lot more just to get your one listing on the shelf. Here, you're creating the dedicated pages that are going to pitch you and backlink you, have your phone number on it, all about you, written professionally, at $1 a page. Crazy. That can provide multiple front page results for stacks of keywords. Remember this idea? One page. Oh, that's a good question. Where was I? One page. Hello. Aha. Like this. On his site, they have one page here. This Searcherline page in the psychiatry folder. That one page has backlinks to it from other pages that talk about Searcherline on other sites. It's the same thing we're creating. And they show up for 311 keywords. 311 for a combined 2,230 searches. If that was the only page we were working on, okay, and you got 2,200 searches off that topic for people who are inquiring as to Searcherline on your website, if you sold Searcherline, I don't know. But if that was it, how many sales would you have to make to pay off the entire project at the rate we're going? Very few. That's what I love about this project, is that the return you get to have off each closed deal is so much that the bar is lying on my big toes. It's all the way on the ground. That's what makes this great. This project is great because everyone's searching. Your competitors are not that web savvy except for just 2 or 3. Okay, they'll probably be above you often in the front page, but many of the other guys are not savvy. I was looking at that. And anyway, I already have these sites ready. That's what's crazy. Okay, so we need a minimum of 50 pages per site. You probably know that Google doesn't really treat your website well until you have at least a certain number of pages on it. 50 is kind of bare bones, but it's kind of on the ground. Okay, you're at how many? 31 pages. Okay, I'm talking about 50 minimum. You're at 31, but so far you're only on the front page for one keyword and it's flip, and that's it. And you're barely on that page. You're in the number 10 spot. Okay. Trust me when I say we need to get the numbers up. So if we go 50 pages per site, and that means for 20 sites, it's going to be 1,000 pages. That's $1,000. 2,000 pages equals twice as many topics to write about, right? So your websites can gain and rank and show for more keyword stacks. Instead of thinking, how cheap can I go with pages, think, how many pages can I afford at any given time, right? And you do need to go 50 minimum per site or you're never going to get off the ground. If you paid for 25 pages per site, you're probably never going to see anything happen. Just like you're having a lot of trouble seeing activity right now organically on your site. It's just not enough. You don't have enough happening to compete with the guys who already put their foot down and spent a lot more to get their DR up and their page counts up, right? They're in the thousands of pages, right? We're playing catch up, but we're doing it strategically, smarter, by creating minimum 50 pages per site, but interlinking through them for the keywords that are low-hanging fruit keywords, and we're doing that geographically for each city separately. Does that make sense? And that way, not only can you show up once, you can show up multiple times on a keyword by keyword by keyword basis. Huge. Okay, so we should choose the top most populous statistical metropolitan areas in Arizona, or all 12, and create 5 topics for each main city. I just did this to make the numbers easy to understand. If we're talking about 50 pages and we're trying to do it for 10 metro areas and treat them separately, right? So that we can hyper compete in each. Give me 5 topics, okay? And then we can do those 5 topics for this city, those same 5 for the next cities over, the next metro area, same 5 for the next metro, same 5 for the next metro. And like Google realized you're hyper focused on those 5 topics right now. You know, each of your websites is in those areas. And that's cool because you're competing locally with the very few guys who are there in each case. They are probably doing sloppy jobs with their websites for the most part because they don't know what they're doing. And so this strategic organized attack is beautiful. And if we're doing it with 20 websites aiming for each city, 20 websites for Scottsdale on those 5 topics, 20 websites for Phoenix on those 5 topics, 20 websites for Sedona on those 5 topics. You pick the topics. And I'm guessing erectile dysfunction topics. The kind of thing people are asking about. We'll look up the keywords and find out what they're asking about. And then we're going to make those pages happen for them. Get it? That geo-targeting is going to be a huge advantage over the larger companies who are not drilling down to offer support for each city. Leaves you only in competition with the small players inside each city. Your city-based pages get to compete with their city-based pages. They're not web savvy enough to compete with you in their city, so your net gets spread wide across their regions for the keyword stacks related to those topics, right? So there you go. In this case, the work becomes easy to prepare for me to maximize visibility with which, say, 5 topics are best. Do you want to do 5? Do you want to do 10? Do you want to do 15? I don't know what you want to do for kicking your budget off to get rolling, but the reality check is, I think I showed you, especially in the other video, what you must do to compete with the guys you asked me about. You must get thousands of pages going eventually with a domain rating of like 56 to 72 to be in the game, right? The guys who only got up to 56 needed 8,700 pages to complete or compete with hymns who only had 2,700 pages, but a domain rating of 72, right? That stuff's work, costs money and time. In our case, though, it's so strategically organized that it's cheaper than anyone else will offer you. You get any other bids for this kind of work, add a 0, no questions asked. It's going to be a lot more complex to do it some other way. So, and I'm not saying that to gloat. I'm saying that is what we focused on for years, streamlining this process to make the thing that must happen to rank as cheap as possible. GPT came and shook up the entire industry. We grabbed a hold of it with both hands and started riding it like a bull. We masterminded it, got it built into our process, and we built visitor tracking stuff into our process, and we built this entire mass page production method into our process. And so it's beautiful now because we can do the work. And you just happen to approach me having a bunch of these websites lying around, okay? And I've got 100. You know, we just been talking about 20. I've got 100, okay, that are at the ready. That's what's crazy. So about the time you want to start expanding across the nation, money you raise from this phase will kick you off for the rest of it. Yeah, so there you go. It's 4220 plus content. Content's a grand up, right? And again, as you saw from the other sites, the more pages you create along with the more DR, which we do through the deep level page backlinking. In other words, we get your DR up by getting your UR up on all of those topics, okay? So we create pages deep linking here and deep linking there and deep linking there and deep linking there. And the domain rating rises because it's a sum of all of that, okay? So we kill 2 birds with 1 stone by doing the URL rating as well, right? Not just that, but I mean, we are doing the keyword matches to the pages on the other websites that are sharing valuable information that is not plagiarized. It's written differently every single time, and yet well. And so Google's happy with it. All right, so there you go. 5220 will kick us off in Arizona and get you moving hard and fast and have you all set up for rapid expansion. Like if you came back when you feel like 2 weeks later, a month later, whenever you raise the money or whenever you feel like it. Again, how many sales do you have to make for $5,250 back in your pocket? Really? So say you want to expand past that. How much does it cost to double the exposure at that point? Another $1,000. 5 more topics, say, through those same cities. Because, hey, if you can do them once, do them again, do them again, do them again. Go after those cities where they're not web savvy and just start surrounding them with your websites, outranking them for all those keywords that they used to show up for. They start getting pushed down to page 2 and 3 and don't know what happened. But that's the point. We can do that. And so once you have the project going, continuing, the growth of it, adding to it is really cheap. $1,000 for 1,000 pages spread out like that with the backlinking built in. Yeah, that's nuts. Okay. I think this makes sense. I think you understand what I'm saying. And when you say give you my analysis of what's possible, do you know how huge that is? We're looking at one page getting 2,000 clicks a month. Now, that could be nationwide. Take it down to just Arizona. So what do you want to do? Divide by 50? 200 divided by 40 clicks a month off the one page? But it's going to be hyper-located. It'll be in your cities, and that's off the one stupid keyword or one stupid page. If we have 1,000 pages, take 40 and multiply by 1,000. Remember, your website basically gets 40 searches a month right now, 50 maybe. By the time you go from 50 to 5,000, okay, which is 100 times as much, tell me you'll get 1 or 2 sales off of that a week. Because sure, why wouldn't you? What is 1 or 2 sales that pay you $3,000 each on average? A week. Okay, that's like $4,500 a week on average. Or I'm sorry, 3 plus 6 divided by 2, $4,500. Take that out for a month. You got $18,000 a month, okay, coming in from that. So even if you just never grew anymore, you're talking about $18,000 a month added profit from this. Okay, that would kick in probably within 2 months of us doing this job. Can I guarantee the numbers? Of course not. Can I guarantee you're going to make the sales even if I get you number 1 on every keyword and number 2 and number 3 and number 4 and number 5? No. It's not my job to guarantee your sales. It's my job to get you visible and make sure that we're using a message that's compatible for you, which isn't going to be hard because it's so obvious what it's about. So we do the stuff, let you look over the pages to your heart's content. Let us know if you want us to change anything. We'll obviously show you samples before we go wide. But there you go. I can take off of those sites and have this stuff live. And by getting it live so fast, we get to start watching something like this happen. I just don't know how high it's going to get. We're aiming only for Arizona instead of the nation or the world. I don't really know how many countries they're in. But the fact of the matter is you're going to grow like crazy. I'm going to assume that this hormone zone is barely, they are just flagging along. I don't even like using them as an example because they're barely in the game. Yeah. You know what you ought to do? Sell leads to them. When you've got too many to handle at one time. Gainswave, though. Heck, man, 25,000 coming off 25,000 keywords. They did way too many pages. They didn't do it well. And they got way too many, the hard way of doing backlinks is crazy. Now, we'll have you competitive with this guy probably by the time you spend 10 grand. I don't know if this guy only works in Arizona, but like I say, expanding past Arizona, by the time we get your project, your phase 1 done and rolling fine, expansion from there through the rest of the nation is just paying for more pages. Maybe the same topics in other cities. In the next state over, like New Mexico. Okay, that would be a good way for you to expand, wouldn't it? Kind of canvas out from where you are through the neighboring states where you can like drive in and out or fly in and out. If you need to meet with those guys, make sure they're doing things right. But you're helping them by getting the pages going so that their phone starts ringing as soon as they accept that they're going to run that subsidiary, right? Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. Not a bad way to grow. All right, let me know your thoughts. This is a solid plan, though. This will work. Okay.